Dumela mapara le maparagadi. It is a new week and that can only mean one thing. Another episode of Mzansi Fundiz is fully locked and loaded on your screens. Kalibitso ke Lekoko, your host. And I guess I have a panel of Fundis, Majita Babaiting Tiski 99, SC Lilufunu. We also have a special guest, but we'll get to it later on. This week, we've witnessed Bafana Bafana needing a bit of talent to recover from that Velimo blunder. And we see well-rested teams getting a chance to showcase what it is that they've been up to in the off-season. The Betway Premiership is coming back. Gentlemen, Leshap.
Ramnate, thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to the show, man.
A pleasure.
I've been looking forward to having you for the longest of time.
Yeah, no, a pleasure. It's great to see everyone in studio, you know, having these two guests here.
You are our Thalente Mbatha for the show.
So who's really more?
We'll discuss that later. And Lufuno, we saw Bafana Bafana playing Escotini. The blunder, let's start there. I think that's a big talking point. Yeah. What do you make of that? Does it automatically write Velimoto out? Can we say Pelile ngai?
Look, it depends what the coach wants. And knowing Broos, our coach, you know, he does things his way. Because now, if you look at it in the second game that we maybe will talk about, he came back with a different goalkeeper. So then you don't understand as to say what exactly the coach wanted to achieve on the day. Because if you were to look at the three goalkeepers that he had, you look at the games that they've already played, already you will see that Chain was the guy that really should have been selected, being in an environment that is very well acquainted with, and already played close to about 5 games already, mean that he's a fit player. Even if you look at Ricardo, he has played, already an MTN game against Pirates, very competitive game. So most definitely, I think the coach really made a blunder by starting with Mota in that game.
Is it crisis mode, Mshega? Can we say without Ronwen, we really are in trouble?
I mean, I actually was having this conversation with people thinking about what is the succession plan after Ronwen, because you look at Motwa, you look at Gauss, you look at even Sipo China as well, almost 30 plus, but China's not as yet, but he's nearing there, that you would say. So you sort of think of who is the succession plan after Ronwen Williams. But even the mistake that Motwa made, I don't look at it and say it's because he hasn't been playing. Because when the time when the shot was taken, he was set. So I was thinking to myself, he should have dealt with that a whole lot better. I don't think it's down to just he's not playing. I think he made a very big mistake. And the reason why Hugo Broos changed him is because we had to get 3 points at South Sudan. No mistakes.
SC, let's speak about the defense. I think it's one of the big talking points that we have. Yes, we can say we've changed the keeper, but at the same time, we've also changed our centre-back pairing. How do you rate them, bearing in mind what you were comparing them to, Grant playing as well as Mtobi Vala playing?
It's going to be interesting that Lefuna is going to hear me say something nice about his play. but nonetheless, I think Hugo Broos, before I even touch on that defense, Hugo Broos' downfall, sort of like his loyalty to certain players or loyalty to his players. Let me put it like that. Remove any other player in the mix. So it was sharper than you, because if you look at what we spoke about with Velimot, those mistakes he's done. If you look at that game holistically, there were a few elements telling when the mistakes being off the line unnecessarily. So, there's a shot that was taken that was coming diagonal. That tells you, okay, he was off position. If it was another player, it would have been back in the net. But going back to the question, Cox, you look at Dotley, you look at Ngezana. Ngezana needs to learn one thing. Be a defender. Stop trying to be a CDM. You can't play as a hybrid. You've never played as a hybrid.
And I mean, you look at the mistake that he made in the second match as well.
Exactly. Those are things that tell you that he's trying to play as a hybrid. Stick to your CB position. Look at Dotley. Play clean. Because he was doing his duties. I'm there just to defend. Let me do my job.
Thalente Mbatha, let me come to you. We witnessed talent saving us.
Yeah.
In the latter stages of the game.
Yeah.
On 2 occasions.
Yeah.
Can we now say, look, this guy is who we rely on. This is the guy that we go to. Do we have to start him, or do we leave him on the bench and say, let him read the game and then come in?
I think it's going to be very soon to sort of bleed him into the starting 11. You think of, this is what Hugo Broos likes. He does like Stolle. He does like Tebogo Mokoena. And those ones have had credibility over time, you know. So I don't think necessarily you can throw talent into it. I think talent can very definitely compete for the position, but I think Hugo Broos has his men that he likes, like you said. He's got his soldiers that he likes, and I just think it's just too soon for him to start. And hey, great credit for him. 2 games, 2 goals.
And let me stick with you. I mean, Stoll is out injured. Does it then now bolster his chances of making it more into the game, into the team rather, playing regularly, getting more minutes because he's shown the hunger?
100%. But the problem is that like Stoll Mbatha, they're 2 different players. So it's sort of like you'd say Stoll is supposed to be the destroyer, right? But like when I look at Thalente Mbatha, he strikes me as a deep lying playmaker. Sort of, so he can be deep, but he can sort of pass the ball if he needs to. So I just think it's not a direct replacement. But if we're going to play games where we dominate possession, then for sure, talent, take it.
Are we hyping him too soon, Lufuno? Does he deserve that credit, the amount of credit that we're giving him, or is it too soon?
I think overall, if you look at his performance at Orlando Pirates, he really has done exceptionally well since they've joined Pirates from SuperSport. He basically had a great season last year. Hence, Pirate had to go all out to retain him on a permanent basis. I think, for me, one thing that I will give our coach credit is in that area where really I think the coach is spoiled for choices. Remember, in the past games, he has also used Batusi Obasi on that position. That does very well in that position. So we are very well covered in that position, which is one thing that I think the coach is really doing very well in terms of building the capacity in terms of the players. And I mean, yes, we spoke about the centre-back positions, which are 2 new centre-backs that have just came in through. Mvala is injured. We saw Kekana was on the bench. So you're building the capacity as a team, as a national team, that you have players that are ready and available.
Capacity it is that we need, and capacity it seems that we have. Mahaitu, we'll be back talking more on capacity, and we touch on the Betway Premiership. So don't go anywhere. Zamona Meti, Rajiga, second half.